What if I told you that the 4 things you fear most about getting older aren't what you think they are? Today, I'm sharing the raw, honest truth from 82-year-old Betty Harrison, who revealed 4 heartbreaking realities about aging that will completely change how you prepare for your golden years. And the 4th truth she shared, it's something that happens to 90% of seniors, but almost no one talks about it. Betty sat in her doctor's office last month, tears streaming down her face. Not because of a diagnosis, but because she realized she had been preparing for all the wrong things about aging. I spent 20 years worrying about my health, she told me, but I was completely blindsided by what really matters. Truth 1. The loneliness epidemic hits harder than any disease. The first heartbreaking truth Betty shared will shock you because it's killing more seniors than heart disease or cancer. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that loneliness impacts seniors' health equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes daily. The study followed over 35,000 adults for decades and found that social isolation creates inflammation in the body that damages every organ system. Dr. Vivek Murthy, former US Surgeon General, declared loneliness a public health epidemic specifically because of its devastating impact on older adults. The medical community now recognizes chronic loneliness as a disease modifier that accelerates aging at the cellular level through increased cortisol production and reduced immune function. Betty's neighbor, Gloria, went 3 weeks without speaking to another human being after her husband passed away. Gloria told Betty she began talking to her reflection in the mirror just to hear a voice respond. This scenario plays out in millions of homes across America every single day, creating what researchers call social death before biological death. The Centers for Disease Control reports that 35% of adults aged 45 and older experience chronic loneliness, with the percentage climbing to over 50% for those over 75. What makes this particularly heartbreaking is that many lonely seniors live in neighborhoods surrounded by people, yet feel completely invisible and forgotten by a society that values youth over wisdom. The consequences of chronic loneliness extend far beyond feeling sad or blue and create measurable changes in brain structure and function. Johns Hopkins researchers discovered that isolated seniors face a 50% increased risk of developing dementia compared to socially connected peers. The study tracked 12,000 participants for 9 years and found that loneliness literally shrinks brain tissue in areas responsible for memory and cognition. Additionally, lonely seniors experience a 26% higher risk of early death and are 32% more likely to suffer from depression that doesn't respond well to traditional treatments. The stress hormones released during prolonged isolation suppress immune function, making seniors more susceptible to infections, falls, and chronic diseases that could otherwise be prevented through social connection. Here's what you must do today to protect yourself from this silent killer that's claiming more lives than accidents or violence. Call one person daily, even if the conversation lasts only 5 minutes, because human connection triggers the release of protective hormones that combat isolation's harmful effects. It doesn't matter if it's a family member, old friend, or neighbor down the street, as long as you engage in genuine conversation that goes beyond surface pleasantries. Join one community activity this week, whether it's a senior center, library book club, or local church group, because physical presence with others triggers the release of oxytocin, which directly counteracts stress hormones. Create a routine of weekly social interaction by scheduling regular coffee dates, phone calls, or shared activities that give you something to look forward to. Don't wait for others to reach out to you because they're likely struggling with the same isolation you are, and someone needs to break the cycle of mutual withdrawal. Take action now, because every day you delay, loneliness digs deeper roots into your health and happiness, making recovery more difficult and less effective. Truth too, your mind stays sharp, but everyone treats you like it doesn't. Have you noticed how people start talking slower to you as you age, even when your mind works perfectly fine? Betty discovered this cruel reality when her own adult children began making decisions for her without asking, despite her mental clarity remaining intact and her judgment being as sound as ever. Studies from Johns Hopkins reveal that cognitive discrimination against seniors creates measurable stress responses that actually impair mental function over time. The research team found that when older adults are consistently treated as less capable, their stress hormone levels spike, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of cognitive decline that damages the very abilities others assume are already compromised. Dr. Sarah Patterson, lead researcher on aging and cognition, explains that patronizing behavior toward seniors triggers fight-or-flight responses that flood the brain with cortisol, temporarily reducing cognitive performance and creating false evidence of mental decline. This phenomenon, called elder speak, involves using simplified vocabulary, slower speech, and condescending tones when addressing older adults. A landmark study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that seniors exposed to elder speak showed immediate decreases in memory recall and problem-solving abilities during testing sessions. The researchers discovered that this patronizing communication style activates the same brain regions associated with learned helplessness in laboratory animals, essentially training seniors to doubt their own mental capabilities. What's particularly devastating is that family members often engage in elder speak with good intentions, not realizing they're undermining their loved one's confidence and cognitive function. Healthcare workers, store clerks, and even strangers often automatically switch to elder speak when interacting with visibly older adults, creating a constant barrage of cognitive disrespect that accumulates over time. The long-term consequences of being treated as mentally incompetent are severe and measurable in ways that will surprise you. Research from the University of California found that seniors who experience regular cognitive discrimination show accelerated brain aging, equivalent to 4 additional years of chronological aging. The study used advanced brain imaging to demonstrate that patronizing treatment actually changes brain structure, particularly in areas responsible for executive function and decision-making. Furthermore, seniors subjected to elder speak demonstrate a 40% faster decline in independence and are more likely to develop depression and anxiety disorders that compound the original problem. The Mayo Clinic reports that older adults who feel cognitively dismissed by others lose motivation to engage in mentally stimulating activities, creating a downward spiral of actual cognitive decline that validates others' mistaken assumptions about their mental capacity. Here's exactly what you must do when someone treats you like your mind isn't sharp, and this response must become automatic and immediate in every situation. Speak up immediately and assertively when others patronize you by saying, "I understand perfectly, please speak to me normally," because silence gives permission for the behavior to continue and escalate. Assert your decision-making abilities by actively participating in conversations about your life, finances, and healthcare, rather than allowing others to discuss you as if you're not present or capable of contributing meaningfully. Practice demonstrating your mental sharpness daily by engaging in complex conversations, solving puzzles, or learning new skills that you can showcase to others who doubt your abilities. Challenge assumptions about your mental capacity by asking detailed questions, offering sophisticated opinions, and making it clear that your mind remains active and engaged. Don't tolerate being treated as less intelligent than you are, because accepting this treatment literally damages your brain over time and accelerates the very decline others incorrectly assume has already begun. Your voice and your mind matter now more than ever, so use them both fearlessly and frequently to command the respect you deserve. Truth 3. The physical changes you can handle. It's losing your purpose that destroys you. Betty's body may be 82, but losing her sense of purpose nearly killed her spirit in ways that arthritis and grey hair never could. The Mayo Clinic confirms that seniors with strong life purpose live an average of 7 years longer than those without clear meaning in their daily lives. This groundbreaking research followed 7,000 participants for over 14 years and found that purposeful living provides protection against heart disease, stroke, and Alzheimer's disease that rivals the benefits of exercise and proper nutrition. Dr. Patricia Boyle, who led the research team, discovered that seniors with high purpose scores maintained cognitive function even when their brains showed signs of Alzheimer's pathology. The study revealed that purpose acts as a buffer against age-related decline by maintaining neural plasticity and promoting the growth of new brain cells throughout the aging process. After retirement, Betty felt invisible and worthless for the first time in her 82 years of life, despite being in relatively good physical health. She had spent 4 decades as a respected teacher, then suddenly found herself with no clear role or contribution to make to the world around her. This transition from valued contributor to perceived burden devastated her self-worth more than any physical ailment she had experienced during her long life. The American Psychological Association reports that 60% of retirees struggle with purpose-related depression within the first 2 years of leaving their careers. Many seniors describe feeling like they've become spectators in life rather than active participants, watching the world move forward without them while their accumulated wisdom goes unused and unappreciated by younger generations. The medical consequences of losing life purpose are more severe than most people realize and affect every system in the body. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that purposeless seniors face a 44% higher risk of depression and a 35% increased likelihood of developing anxiety disorders. The study also revealed that seniors without clear purpose show measurable increases in inflammatory markers associated with heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Harvard researchers discovered that purposeful seniors maintain stronger immune systems, better sleep quality, and higher pain tolerance compared to their purposeless peers. The difference is so significant that doctors now consider purpose assessment an essential part of senior healthcare evaluations, recognizing that meaning-making is as important as medication management for overall health outcomes. Identify one skill or knowledge area you can teach or share with others starting this week, whether it's cooking, gardening, professional expertise, or life experiences that younger people desperately need to learn. Your decades of wisdom have value that younger generations desperately need, so don't keep it locked away inside you where it benefits no one and dies with you. Volunteer for one cause that matters to you, even if you can only contribute a few hours monthly, because research shows that seniors who volunteer regularly experience the same health benefits as those who exercise regularly. Consider mentoring someone in your former profession or hobby, because passing on knowledge activates the same brain regions associated with parenting and nurturing, providing deep psychological satisfaction. Create a legacy project like writing family stories, organizing photos, documenting important memories, or teaching skills that will outlive your physical presence and benefit future generations. Don't underestimate the power of small contributions, because your experience is invaluable and irreplaceable in ways that younger people cannot fully appreciate until they reach your age themselves. Take action immediately, because every day without purpose is a day your spirit withers, and the world loses access to your unique gifts and wisdom that took a lifetime to develop. Truth 4. Everyone prepares for death, but no one prepares for outliving everyone you love. This is the truth that broke Betty's heart, and it's happening to millions of seniors right now across America in nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family homes where they sit surrounded by strangers. CDC data shows that by age 80, most people have lost 75% of their closest relationships to death, illness, or geographic separation. Betty has outlived her husband of 54 years, 2 siblings, her best friend since childhood, and most of her longtime neighbors who knew her story and shared her memories. The statistical reality is harsh but undeniable. If you live into your 80s and beyond, you will likely experience the death of most people who knew you when you were young. This isn't discussed in retirement planning because it's too painful to acknowledge. Yet it's one of the most predictable challenges of extreme longevity that catches seniors completely unprepared for the emotional devastation. Research from the National Institute on Aging reveals that relationship loss accelerates dramatically after age 75, with seniors losing an average of 2 close relationships per year to various causes. Betty described attending 5 funerals in a single year, each one taking away another piece of her shared history and identity. She explained that losing lifelong friends feels like losing parts of yourself because they were the only people who remembered your younger self, your dreams, your struggles, and your victories when life was full of possibility. The psychological term for this phenomenon is relationship depletion, and it affects virtually everyone who lives beyond average life expectancy, creating a form of survivor's guilt that compounds the natural grief process. The health consequences of outliving your loved ones create what researchers call accumulated grief syndrome that damages both mental and physical health simultaneously. The Journal of Gerontology published findings showing that seniors who experience multiple relationship losses within short timeframes face a 60% higher risk of developing complex post-traumatic stress disorder. The grief literally rewires the brain, making it difficult to form new attachments and increasing vulnerability to depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline that mimics dementia symptoms. Furthermore, seniors dealing with accumulated grief often lose their will to live, leading to what doctors call failure to thrive syndrome, even in the absence of serious medical conditions. The Mayo Clinic reports that relationship loss creates physical stress responses that weaken immune function and accelerate aging at the cellular level, making seniors more susceptible to infections and chronic diseases. Build intergenerational friendships now by connecting with people who are 10 to 20 years younger than you, because these relationships provide emotional stability and continuity. These relationships provide emotional stability because your younger friends are statistically likely to outlive you, preventing the pain of constant loss that devastates so many seniors. Join activities that bring together people of different ages, such as community gardens, volunteer organizations, or hobby clubs, where age diversity is natural and welcomed. Invest time in relationships with your children's friends, neighbors' families, or colleagues' adult children who appreciate your wisdom and perspective in ways their own parents might not. Document your relationships through photos, letters, or recordings so that even when people pass away, you maintain tangible connections to shared memories and experiences. Create new traditions with younger friends that will continue beyond your lifetime, ensuring that your influence and love persist in their lives. Don't wait to diversify your social circle, because every year you delay makes it harder to form meaningful new bonds that require time and shared experiences to develop. Start building these relationships today, because your future emotional survival depends on having people to love who will still be here to love you back when everyone else is gone. Betty's revelations remind us that aging's real challenges aren't what we expect, and while we prepare our bodies and finances, we often neglect our hearts and spirits until it's almost too late to make necessary changes. The beautiful truth is that unlike diseases or physical decline, these 4 challenges are within your control to address right now. Which of these 4 truths resonates most with your experience? Share in the comments below, because your story might help another senior feel less alone. And if this opened your eyes like it did mine, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear Betty's wisdom.